Yeah, g'day YouTubers. Tinker O'Toole again with another video. Today I'm going to talk about an angle that no one ever talks about, but is very relevant for full chisel. And that's the top plate inward sloping angle. And a lot of people are going to say, what? Top plate inward sloping angle? And what that is, and we'll put a slide up of Stihl's RS, and that's a classic example of where the top plates are sloping downwards, inwards, towards the bar. And they do that because it all helps performance in cutting, chip evacuation. It's just another angle that works really good on full chisel. The top plates on semi-chisel are dead flat. And when they first invented the full chisel chain, which was Joseph Cox, he had his top plates dead flat. And we can put a picture up of that. And if you look at the right hand corner down the bottom, you'll see a drawing of the left and the right tooth, and they're sitting flat. So things have changed from that period. A lot of things have changed in the geometry of chainsaw tooth. So with our top plate, we generally run 30 degrees on that. And on Stihl's RS, we run 50 degrees on the top plate cutting angle. The side plate is generally 50 degrees. And we can check that using this little gauge here. Now at the factory, you might find out that the side plate angle will be a little bit different than your side plate angle when you use the file. For those not too familiar with that, the side plate angle is the one that's right up the very top here where my fingernail is. That's where it's measured. You can measure it on that side as well, but really there's no point because this is the side that does all the work. Generally speaking, on RS chain, when I've measured it from the factory out of the box, 60 degrees this side and it's 60 degrees that side. It's exactly the same. When you tilt your file, it can be different. And that's what we're going to talk about, tilting your file with a top plate inward sloping angle. And when you had a look at the slide that I put, you could clearly see with the Stihl's RS that the top plates slope inwards and downwards towards the bar. So therefore, if you were to grab hold of a full chisel tooth and it was sloping inwards by that amount, hold your file accordingly. That's the rule of thumb. Hold the file at the same angle. So if it's dead flat, hold your file dead flat. If it's 10 degrees, hold it 10 degrees. Generally speaking, there's a little tiny bit of top plate inward angle facing downwards, right? And it might only be 2 or 3 degrees. It could be 4 degrees, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It depends on the tooth. So we'll put another slide up of Stihl's RS and you can clearly see that that was the angle that I measured across the two teeth. So you just divide that in half, you've got your angle. A little bit difficult to measure, but nonetheless, we got the measurement there anyway. And as I said, it's all about performance because Stihl's RS is a high performance chain. You've also got Stihl RS Pro. That's another one. It's only been out, I think, since 2020, so it's not that old, the Pro version. I've never used that one. But certainly Stihl's RS is right up there with a high performance cutting. Now there's a lot of controversy about the 10 degrees downward tilt. Do I use it? Do I not? Right? So this is really interesting. So my current advice at the moment, based on the knowledge that I've gained over the years, is that if you were to look at your full chisel chain from the nose where the sprocket is, and if you can see that it's sloping quite a bit, give it 10 degrees downward tilt. If it's barely got any sloping, top plate sloping in towards the center of the bar, then I wouldn't worry about it. So that's probably one way to do it. The other alternative is that you just go with your manufacturer's recommendation. However, having said that, still no longer recommend using the 10 degrees downward tilt. I don't know why. There's no official letter or technical bulletin that I'm aware of. Probably it's because people can stuff it up, just get it all wrong. They can tilt down much more than is required, and they can make the cutting edge worse than what it was if they gave it no tilt. But certainly I believe that Stihl's RS can benefit from the tilt, provided that you give it the same amount of tilt whatever the tooth is sloping in. And that's pretty easy to do, because all you've got to do is grab the tooth like that. We'll just zoom in there. And if it's got a little bit of tilt on it like that, I just hold the file level like that. I wouldn't go down like this, like a lot of people do, because what you're going to do there is file the front of the tooth, and you're not going to file the back. So you're going to end up, this side could be 50 degrees and this could be 60. You wouldn't sharpen a chisel like that on an angle, would you? Right? You'd sharpen it even. You'd hold it on the stone, hold it flat. Well, to me, you do the same thing with your chisel chains. If they're on an angle, hold the file at that angle, so that when you file that edge, that cutting edge, it's all uniform. And if everything's uniform, like most things, it'll cut uniform. I hope that information helps. It's only a little bit of a tutorial on full chisel chain, top plate inward angle. It's something that most people don't talk about. It's something that if you do a literature search, you may find something on it, but there's not a lot out there on it. And I guess I don't want to make it even more complicated than what it is. But certainly I found out with my Stihl's RS chain that if I tilt the file at the same angle that the top plate is sloping at, that gives me a much better cutting edge. And it's all about trying to get this chain as sharp as it can be and as efficient cutting as what can be done. So that's the latest information I've got on sharpening. I know there may be some people who disagree. That's fine. That's what I'm for. Look, it works fantastic for me doing it that way now. I was doing it different. I was looking at all full chisel chains and saying 10 degrees tilt, 10 degrees tilt. I wasn't even paying attention. I did look at some full chisel chains and say, oh, that looks like it's sloping down a little bit. Most of the chains that I got don't slope down that much, but certainly Stihl's RS is far more aggressive than some of the other chains I've got, and it's much more noticeable, that top plate tilting, inward tilt. So yeah, do yourself a favour next time when you're going to bring your file out and you're not 100% sure whether you're going to give it 10 degrees downward tilt or whether you're going to file it flat. Have a look at the top plates, whether they're sloping inwards. They're sloping inwards, just get the file and go at that same angle. You won't go wrong doing it that way. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.